Picture this, a classic sailboat built for big voyage. Space to sleep 6, but there is a catch. No shower.
I'm Luis Neto. This is my voyage from refugee to refitting a sailboat. I'm a barber at sea, cutting through the waves. If I can do it, so you can.
This is my 1975 Olson 38. Should I install a shower or a portable one is the way to go? But first, here is the basic layout. V-berth for 2, the head, boat's peak for toilet, salon for 3 more and a quarter berth in the back. My dream boat seemed way out of reach.
Right from the start, I was using avionics to chart those dream trips to Scotland or the USA. Windy was my go-to for shaking weather patterns and getting a feel for what the sailing conditions might be like. If you don't know what is Navionics, it's just like Google Maps for cars, but for boats, Navionics is a chart plotter. This was the passage we have done from Falmouth to Ipswich.
I saw one in US for $80,000, another in Scotland for £25,000. That one in Scotland was still expensive, but then I got lucky. The previous owner reached out on Facebook, and it is the best part. His asking price was £20,000 right here in UK. That was still a stretch for me, but I decided to go and see the boat anyway. Prices were crazy. My ideal boat was somewhere between 40 to 46 feet. I had a trip planned to see the Scottish boat, but then the second lockdown, everything got cancelled. Feeling a bit down, I posted on Olson 38 Facebook group, just kind of venting. When he told me the asking price, I booked a trip to see the boat as soon as possible. Even though it was a 7-hour drive, the moment I stepped on board, I knew this was it. We talked for ages, then I headed home. Phone call, more questions. Finally, I decided to buy, but I needed a survey first. Actually, before the survey, I tried getting a loan for a bigger boat. But banks don't usually finance all the boats, and being self-employed made it harder. Honestly, that felt a bit like a gut punch. I've wanted a boat since 2014 and worked like a crazy to save up, sometimes literally 7 days a week. Anyway, when it came time to buy this boat, I knew I couldn't skip this. It was my first boat, and I had only sailed once for like 30 minutes at boat show. Luckily, I didn't need a crane lift out, which saved me some cash.
It's survey day, guys, and it's raining in Conroe in Falmouth. There is the surveyor taking some pictures. I'm having a look. The expert.
Yeah, I think that's in the solvent again. So, but the good news is the hammer sounding is okay.
The surveyor cost $695 and he found some important stuff. Seacocks that needed replacement.
Here is the old and the new seacock. The old one was completely seized, full of rust. So, as you guys can see, I had to cut it to remove. And this is the brand new one, shiny. All the seacocks off from the cockpit. You can see signs of corrosion. They were all stuck. I don't know when was the last time that it was changing, so better go for brand new ones.
Worn out anodes, a few other bits and pieces. All up, those parts were 247 pounds, plus more for hoses and stuff. But that was just the beginning. The next hurdle was finding somewhere to keep my boat. Turns out marina berths aren't easy to come by, especially without looking ahead. Lesson learned. So I immediately went on the hunt and quick discovered marinas are expensive. Here is the basic breakdown. Marina, they charge by the meter per year. My sailboat would be around 306.40 plus VAT. Ouch. Visitor rates, if you are just hopping by, it's about 2.45 per meter per day plus VAT.
Then there is storage if you don't use the boat year round.
Ashore storage includes a Crowdo, costs £17.45 per meter per month plus VAT. Winter float, winter storage ashore. Prices vary, so you will need to check. And don't forget the extras. Site access if you hire subcontractors, that might be £15.50. Electricity is usually pay as you go with the prepaid meters. For my sailboat would be $150 refundable deposit. I'm lucky to have found a family-run boatyard called Arrowy Kings & Sons. Here is what I pay there. ABP license mooring $239.32 plus VAT. Deep water mooring is $22.10 per foot, which comes to $839.8 plus VAT. Use of mooring until December. This initial bill was $1,079.12 total. So let's talk about the available amenities. While the basics of water and electricity are covered, there are a few things that you should know. The water access is free, which is fantastic. For electricity, they use it pay-as-you-go system with the coin-operated meters. You will need to keep those topped up to power any appliance or lights on board. Unfortunately, internet isn't provided at Marina. Luckily, I have a good decent phone plan with a good data allowance. So that will be my internet connection while I'm here. Also, there aren't any laundry facilities on site, so I will need to take any washing back home to do. It's a bit of a trade-off. Some nice freebies, but you have to be a bit more self-sufficient in other ways. Still, for the cost, these are manageable compromises. One of the best ways to keep boat ownership costs down is to tackle as much maintenance as you can yourself. I am a total DIY enthusiast. I do my own engine servicing, strictly following the manufacturer's recommendation. That includes oil changes, filters, checking belts, replacing the impeller, everything. A service kit for my Beta Marina engine cost me around £56.50. I get the oil for another £27 or so. Sometimes you even need to get creative and fabricate your own parts. Recently I made a custom fuel tank gasket out of solid black rubber. That only cost me £16 in materials. I even tackled my own anti-fouling this year. It was a big job, so I roped some friends to help, and we knocked out 4 coats in one day.
The anti-foul itself costs £1,000, but comparing to paying a professional, the savings are huge. Since I'm so committed to DIY this boat, I have had to slowly build up my tool collection from basically nothing. Investing in quality tools is key. So I've got myself things like Makita Impact Driver. That set me back about £145, but is worth every penny. Baku drive ratchet mini socket and screw set. Super handy in those tight engine compartment spaces. Bosch GX 4-150 random orbit sander. A must-have for surface prep, and this one was around £260, along with the Bosch Expert in backing pads at another £39. Combination spanner set, universal socket set, metric socket set, essential toolkits that cover a wide range of fasteners. Those came in at about 12 to 20 each. Electric wrench X socket headset, great for quick and easy tightening. That was just around £9. Living aboard, keep things simple. I use a 7kg gas bottle for cooking, and it lasts me about 4 months since I tend to eat up pre-made meals rather than cooking from scratch. I'm not quite at the stage of lithium battery upgrades, but that's definitely in the future plans. Right now I'm still running some AGM batteries, which, let's be honest, have seen better days. To really get this boat ready for living aboard, I've invested in some key upgrades. Let's start with safety. Fire extinguishers. I've got a 1kg ABC powered automatic fire extinguisher in the engine bay, plus extinguishers in the salon and the cockpit locker. That came in at about £90. Carbon monoxide and smoke detector. Super important, I snagged a kit combo alarm for about £18. I've also done some big upgrades. Stainless steel chain. I pick up 60 meters of chain, which was a £360 investment. New standing rigging, that's all the cables supporting the mast.
a big job that cost around 2,300. Sails and ropes, I got a backup mainsail rope and the new rope for the mainsail and jib. Another 300 or so spent there. Wind steering. One of the biggest upgrades I have made for long distance cruising was installing a hydrovan. Wind steering device. This was a major investment at 5,500, but it will be a game changer on longer voyages. I'm also about to embark on a big DIY project, making my own spray hood. The old one was falling apart, so I removed it completely. To tackle this project, I invested in a Singer 427 zigzag heavy-duty sewing machine for about £125. 2023 upgrades and essentials. This year I'm tackling some important improvements for both safety and everyday life on the boat. Let's break down what I've spent so far. Water system. Making sure my freshwater system is clean and reliable. I spent £34 on epoxy resin specifically for the water tank and another £119 on jerry cans for extra storage, which is especially important for longer trips. Safety and maintenance. Feeling prepared for anything is key. That's why I invested in things like a wooden bung plug for emergencies. £11.99, a life raft cardo, £77, and some good quality drill bits and attachments, £37.94. I also pick up a clinometer for £9.99, which helps me check the boat's angle, and essential lubricants and sealants for £23.48 to keep everything working smoothly. Living aboard means finding solutions that make life easier. I added a portable stove and butane refills at £34.61, a storage bag for the dinghy £34.95, an extra heater outlet £11.99 for those chilly nights, and new ceiling strips for the lockers £5.83 to keep out moisture. I am planning some DIY projects, so I needed to restock on some basics like Scotch-Brite discs, £14, and get a power trimmer with the router bits, £27.36, to tackle some of the woodwork. Got to protect myself while working with a Arego helmet, £7, and I decided to invest in a good quality slam sailing jacket, £31, to stay dry in all conditions, which I got it for second hand. Of course, there are some essential service I can't do it myself. Getting reborn, lifted, pressure washed, and put into the first parts of our winter storage cost me £643, plus insurance at £111.63. That brings my 2023 total so far to $2,384. Investing in these things now ensures my boat stays safe, comfortable, and ready for everything I wanted to do with her. In 2022, my boat expenses were a bit higher. Let's break it down. Mooring and storage. The biggest chunk was definitely my mooring ball and storage fees, which come out to £1,764.14 for the year. Insurance. My boat insurance added another £107. Equipment and supplies. This covers everything from hoses to lights to paints and brushes, which totaled around £534.01. Miscellaneous. I also added about £102 in miscellaneous costs, which could be small tools, dock lines, cleaning products, things like that. All in all, my 22 boat expenses totaled £2,405.15, which works out to roughly $200.43 a month. 2021 was a year for upgrades. Let's break it down. Insurance. Standard cover for the year was £104.13. Gotta have that peace of mind. Mooring and storage. My yacht storage cost me £1,295.04. It's a big chunk, but a safe and secure spot is essential. Speaking of upgrades, I'm still debating on a new shard plotter. I'm leaning towards B&G. What do you guys recommend? Let me know in the comments. Your experience could be really helpful. The grand total both expenses across 4 years are £7,151.21 pounds. So far, 3 years of upgrades, maintenance and just living the boat life. What's the total cost? It is a lot, no doubt about it. But remember, I got this amazing classic sailboat for a great price. The original asking price was £20,000 and I actually managed to get it for £19,000. The experiences I have had on Reborn makes every penny and every hour of hard work totally worth it. And get ready because I've got a ton of projects lined up. If you enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing, like, share, comment, share with your friends. It's a way to help the channel grow. Thanks for watching.